Welcome to Floating Leaf Tea Podcast. My name is Showen.
And I'm Noah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. We've been spending the day trying to figure out how to record a video.
Yeah.
And it's a new skill.
Yeah.
And with new skills comes...
challenges and obstacles.
Obstacles.
Oh, obstacles.
Yes. But it's fun to learn.
Is that a joke of the day?
Yeah.
Do you have joke of the day?
No, I don't have one this week.
Okay.
I didn't think of anything this last week.
Yeah. No time to think about jokes.
No. Only time for hard work.
Hard work. True.
And barbecue. Did I think of any good barbecue jokes? Probably not. Probably not.
BBQ.
That was a good one. BBQ too. That's what I call a delicious joke.
Oh, you guys so far can probably... I mean, by now you can tell that we are crazy.
Yeah. I can feel hundreds of eyes rolling.
But during this quarantine time, one does whatever it takes to entertain oneself.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
For example, drinking charcoal roasted dongding.
Hey, that's not a joke.
No, it's not a joke. It's a transition.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go into it. So, guess what we are drinking today?
Are we drinking charcoal roasted dongding?
Yeah. How do you know?
Because I already knew.
So,
but I'm excited to drink it.
yeah. Well, I actually have a reason why I want to drink this tea today. First of all, to a dear customer on Instagram, his comment on his own video was really funny. He said, "You guys just wouldn't stop talking about dongding tea on your podcast." So I forgot your name, but just to you, I'm going to live up my reputation. I'm going to drink dongding today. That's one reason. Secondly, I am actually really quite big on revisiting a tea, and sorry, I haven't been drinking this tea for a while, so I think it's a time that I revisit this tea. Third, this tea might be sold out pretty soon. We already ordered the next batch, so I think before it's gone, I would like to taste the tea again.
Saying goodbye to our good friend, Charcoal Dongding, of this batch. This Charcoal Dongding.
Yeah. And number fourth reason, a lady on Instagram, Boy Chick, posted she was drinking this exact charcoal roast dongding, and she brewed the tea pretty dark and yummy looking. And I was just like, dang, I have to try that too. So there are 4 reasons that I have to drink this specific charcoal roasted dongding. Aren't those great reasons?
Those are great reasons.
Yeah, here you go. So let's do this.
So can we go back to the part where you said for the young filmmaker, Mr. Huang?
Mr. Young filmmaker Huang. Oh, sorry. Young Mr. Film... What?
So a young filmmaker named Mr. Huang said,
Yes.
I had to do this video of your dongding because you guys are always talking about it on your podcast.
Yes, so young Mr. Huang, today the episode is for you to live up to my reputation. I am going to be crazy. Every day it's a different kind of craziness that I'm dealing with. Today I actually don't know which kind anymore, and I'm dealing with it.
Gotta deal with it.
Okay, let's do this. Charcoal roast dongding.
I just smelled the dried leaves.
I warm up the pot and put the leaves in
the
there.
hot dry leaves.
Yeah, hot dry leaves.
A lot of dried fruit notes in there. Very sweet.
It doesn't smell like mushroom, but it reminds me of dry mushroom.
Oh, huh.
Somehow.
You know, this batch of tea was one of the few ones that was actually already aged for a couple of years, set aside for a couple of years before we got the tea. Usually he'll send us out a freshly roasted tea. And this was freshly roasted as well, but it had been roasted, set aside, and then roasted again. So it's developed like a certain kind of sweetness that usually only shows up after a year or two sitting after it's been roasted, which is awesome.
So quite interesting. And today I'm going to be inspired by that photo from our tea friend Boy Chick. Really dark looking broth. So I'm gonna do that today too.
Oh, brew it strong?
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't scare me.
I want to show my chest hair today. Okay, it was awkwardly silent. Okay, first infusion of this charcoal roasted dongding. Actually, let me see if I have the notes of the tea and when it was roasted and
Okay,
stuff.
cool.
So this tea was from winter 2018. And so when Mr. Zhang got the tea, he put in some fire in the end of November. And then the second fire in December 3rd, 2018.
Oh, so pretty close together.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm thinking it's probably from the same fire.
Oh.
The same batch of fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's not that many days apart.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a week, roughly about
And
a
it
week
takes about 10 days
for the
right?
fire to go off.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then in 2020, he roasted the tea again in February 4th. And in April, he touched it up again. And before he sent this out to us, he said he'd like to wake up a tea. So June 2nd, this tea was woken up the final time by him.
Very cool.
Very, very cool. Fascinating also. Woken up. So first infusion, the surface. This is so beautiful. It actually brought me back to his roasting room. Since it was roasted so recently, you can actually smell the light charcoal on the surface, from the surface of the tea broth. And very interesting, what I saw is all the ashes that he put on the top of his, can I call it kiln? I don't think.
Roasting basket?
Roasting, underneath the roasting basket. So they use ash to control fire. And just the smell brought me that beautiful image of those precious ashes. Ashes is actually really important for a tea roaster. And also for people who like to brew tea with charcoal fire, its ashes are also something else. It's not just ash anymore. It's a tool. It's something to help them to get somewhere.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
necessary to be able to control the fire.
Yeah, it's an ally.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, that's good.
And just wonderful image that it brought to me. I really miss being in Taiwan this year, and to be able to call it out.
Kind of touching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fruity.
It's really fruity.
It's fruity as a dongding.
Which I only have ever noticed after the charcoal dongding has sat for at least a year.
Wow.
Really cool.
I never pay so much close attention.
I think you do. It's just one thing that I noticed, like
Yeah.
drinking like a bag of like, oh, this is 2018 tea, 2016 tea, whatever. It's like, wow, that's so fruity. Seriously fruity.
Fruity and actually quite lively for a charcoal roast dongding. That feeling of the tea broth on the tongue, it actually feels lively.
I usually think of freshly roasted charcoal dongding, this lineup of tea, as being like a dense, like heavy broth, a pretty assertive kind of tea, bold flavor tea. But after it's sat around for a while, it really develops some, like you said, liveliness. There's a lightness to it. Oh, smell the cup smell.
Empty cup have that sweet dark fruit mixed with that roast. It's really pretty and savory at the same time. Let's see how this second infusion unfolds.
So Shoan just pulled out her phone to start a timer. I assume you're going for boy chick style by brewing it for a long time to see how long you brewed it. Am I wrong?
Well, I just want to see how long I brew the tea. That's about it. I'm not looking at the phone. Kind of want to
Just time yourself.
let the phone tell me it's actually pretty much or roughly how much time I have used. Yeah.
What a thrill.
Your life is pretty planned then, huh?
Yeah. This is the most thrilling thing I've done in weeks.
To know the answer of how long you brew the tea?
Yeah.
Wow. Glad I could help.
Thank you.
No, anytime.
It was that and a bowl of oatmeal that I put a little extra maple syrup in. That's not true.
About 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, on the second infusion. First one I didn't bother with it, so and the tea broth is looking pretty dark. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, that is dark.
Dark, huh? Oh,
红水乌龙.
yeah, feels like 红水乌龙 color right now. Dun 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 dun. Oh, lots of rose smell on the surface of the tea broth.
Almost like chocolatey or like a stout beer, like a porter or stout roasted malt beer.
Yeah, and the scent goes into the head quite easily. Go into the throat as well, the scent.
From the from the nose into the throat.
Yeah. But it's not like those kind of like soft teas have that capacity to like just kind of, lack of a better word, invade and then kind of sneak around like a ninja and then go into all parts of your head. This one is more like it's very obvious on
It's just
the
like
line.
doing, it's in your head. Doing, it hit your throat.
Yeah. But you don't feel that, you don't feel like the ninja movement.
There's not that level of nuance.
That's right. And let's see what it tastes. Ooh, full body, but it can handle.
Oh, totally.
It can handle 2 minutes of brewing in the Gongfu Cha style. I think I roughly put about 7 grams of tea in there, and the liquid the water that I use is probably roughly about 100 millimeters.
And maybe just about 100.
Yeah.
It's not sharp. It's not
No.
sharp. It's not overly. It's not out of balance. You know.
Mm-hmm. And
But it's bold though. It's like it's strong.
The taste is actually less fruity right now, I feel, and it feels more chocolate-like feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the throat sensation is very strong.
Yeah, I get more of that chocolate roasted malt in the front of my mouth.
Yeah.
And then as it heads towards my throat, the sweetness kind of comes back and feels more like dried fruit again. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the throat is bold, but it moves past the throat nicely.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't take that motion of stop, move, kind of.
It just flows.
Yeah. It's actually quite. It moves okay.
And really big salivation.
Whew, strong salivation. Since I brew it so heavy-handed.
Yeah. The salivation is actually really similar to when you have like a really dark chunk of chocolate in your mouth. Mm-hmm. Just swish it around a while.
Oh, good.
Kind of tannic salivation style.
I want to try that then. I actually rarely eat chocolate.
Well, let me introduce you to some chocolate. I don't eat a lot of chocolate either. I do like it though.
So I never noticed how I salivate with my chocolate intake.
Usually, seems to more show up with really dark chocolate to have that amount of tannin in there. I think it's tannin. I don't really know.
It does feel a little bit
feels like
dry kind of a feeling. Yeah. And I think the a little bit bitterness will cause that feeling too. And this second brew on this charcoal roast dongding that I brewed for 2 minutes in a Gongfu style does call out a lot of dark chocolate feeling. The texture feels like that. The bitterness feels like that. The dryness feels like that.
Yeah.
Okay, third infusion, I don't need to bother then.
Brew like that again. That was great.
Good, huh?
Yeah, I
Sometimes
like it.
the tea can really handle. And do you know when to do this? It's even better when it's cold outside. Just brew the tea super rich. Woof. Yeah. It just bring out a lot of boldness and a lot of warmth. Yeah.
I like warmth.
Summertime, I tend to brew the tea maybe on the lighter side, but today I'm kind of in the mood. Why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Get a little high.
Yeah. And get to
Edit a podcast.
get to know my tea.
Sounds like a crazy night to me.
Busy. Have been so busy.
Yeah, somehow.
I have a friend who just gave birth to a baby girl, and I think she and her husband, that's their first baby, and so they are a little bit they are very overwhelmed. So somehow I volunteer to cook them food.
And it's been a lot of extra work. But fun.
Yeah, really fun. And when I see the husband's eyes, I said, okay, this is really worth it. I can really see from his eyes, he's really grateful. And then, I mean, this is not what I'm needing right now, just to see that pair of eyes, then to know that I can actually help. It feels really good. But I'm exhausted.
There's a Chinese concept after a woman gives birth of nourishing the body back to health with special food.
Yeah.
Is it called 坐月子?
坐月子.
Yeah, so that's kind of
basically take a month, but she did send me 4 months worth of a food calendar, and I didn't volunteer to cook her food for 4 weeks. Okay. 4 weeks. So it's like a month worth of, food calendar.
We've been making some of the stuff on there though. And it's kind of interesting to try see what kind of stuff is, what's on there.
Yeah, and what they can eat, what style. So like a lot of soup, a lot of kanji style food. If I cook meat, it's a steam style.
And that Chinese concept of healing the body with the food that you eat is really deep in the culture.
Yeah.
So it's for me, coming from the outside, it's really fun to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think tea is kind of like that too. We talked to our teacher, Mr. Lai, and he was, because it's the very beginning of autumn, he's drinking aged tea.
Oh, true. Yeah.
To help his body.
To help to start to...
With the transition of the seasons.
To nourish the body. Yeah.
And we're drinking roasted tea when it's really kind of warm out. So I don't know if that's really to nourish the body, but it feels good.
Well, there's a little bit of the autumn feeling
totally.
After all. So we should do a little bit of those kind of tea drinking. Drink your tea with the weather. Third infusion, the surface still... What I'm really intrigued when I first met Mr. John and I got introduced to charcoal roast dongding, not just because it's charcoal, but a roasted dongding, roasted tea. A lot of times when I encounter a roasted oolong tea, and then sometimes the first infusion tastes pretty good, roasty and full body. Second infusion, the roast kind of halfway die off. Third infusion, the roast is not in the tea, that kind of stuff. And when I first got introduced to his charcoal roast tea, it didn't feel very dark to begin with, the charcoal. I mean, he has darker charcoal. I think I was introduced into 2 roasts actually. And I was already, at that time, I was like, yes, this is the tea I was looking for. And they basically brew me at least 5 infusions. And I noticed through that 5 infusions, the charcoal fire presence stay all the time with it. That's the first time I thought, well, this is a different style of roasting.
It's very well integrated. It's not a superficial roast.
That's right.
Which is hard to do if you've ever tried roasting tea before.
Yeah.
I have, and it's like really hard to make it more than just a superficial roasty flavor on the outside of the tea.
True.
Because you have to get inside of that little ball.
Yeah.
You have to use fire and find a way to get inside. Into the center of that little ball of tea.
Yeah. And almost like realign the tea a little bit. And it's fascinating art to us. And hopefully someday we can get to at least some of the art part.
That's the goal.
And so anyway, this third cup, the surface smell still carry almost, I would say, the same presence, the same amount of presence on the charcoal. And I can still see that ash. I want to go back.
Yeah. I was a little bit more hasty with my drinking, so I've already finished the cup. That sensation of blooming or spreading is
coming up on the third infusion.
Yeah.
It's just like, it feels like nice. Sorry for vegetarians and vegans out there, but it's like really well cooked fat that is no longer fat. It's not greasy. It just melt in the mouth and spread out into the mouth, and you can just you just bring a smile on your face. Your mouth is kind of half open because you are so happy, and you just glide down to your throat and move into your belly, and you just got filled with happiness.
And the tasting the tea encompasses that entire sensation of like it's in your mouth whole, and then you bite onto it, and then it spreads.
Yeah.
Like when it first hits, it's just there in the middle, and then it starts to melt, and it's just really yummy.
Maybe tea will maybe become a vegetarian because I can get the meat feeling from the tea anyway. A lot of the teas.
I wouldn't count on it.
Excuse me?
Because I can imagine you're going to be like, oh, that meat. How do you get that really good meat that's like fat, that's not greasy? Let me go watch some YouTube videos, see if I can make it.
Right? True.
Right?
Since I've been cooking for this friend, I've been watching a lot of YouTube cooking videos.
I wonder if I could cook pork belly so it's like fat but not greasy. Okay, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
So I don't know about vegetarian, but it's a nice idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to watch those videos to start to learn that first of all, the food style that I have never cooked. even though they are Chinese food, and to like steam the meat and make it taste good, not just plainly steam a piece of meat. Actually, to make them taste soft.
Well, there's that
and good.
kind of obsession with making it so like delicately perfect that shows up both in like a really fine tea roaster and also in a really fine chef. Mm-hmm. And the attention to detail, like I was watching with you that video, he's making chicken stock and he does so many steps just to make the chicken stock, and he has it boiling really hot. He adds cold water so it pushes out more impurities in the broth.
Yeah.
And it really made me think of tea roasting.
Yeah.
How tea roasters are so obsessed with really what you're doing is getting your roast into the center of that little ball of tea leaf.
True.
But how do I get in there and slowly push out the impurities so that it comes out with something cleaner and
rich,
and more concentrated than it was before. Well, there's that concept of the zhiyin, which I think about all the time.
Zhiyin.
And the zhiyin is someone who understands the art that the artist is producing in a really intricate way. The classic story is there's a zither player. He's playing the most beautiful music, and then his zhiyin, this person that's listening to him, when the zither player is playing, thinking about the mountains, the listener, the zhiyin, sees the mountains. When the player is playing and thinking about bamboo waving in the wind, the listener can see that too. And that's something I think a lot about with tea. About this tea. This tea's name is Mingquan. Babbling Brook. Singing Brook.
Same brook.
And it takes dedication to just the listening part of drinking tea to be able to see that. But when you can start to see something, it feels so good. To be able to pick up what the artist is putting down is really satisfying.
Yeah, it seriously took me years to really relate to the name that the teacher attached this specific name to name this series of roasted dongding as Singing Brook. Because one day somehow here at Floating Leaf Tea, I say I saw the river. I was so happy. I was like, wow, there is a reason why he named this tea this way. Sometimes I feel like I'm a very slow learner, but sometimes I feel very excited I actually got it. Because I actually forgot about what the name really means to me. I just know that I always buy Singing Brook
always by
dongding.
Mingquan.
Yeah, whatever. I order Singing Brook dongding.
And then one day it showed up.
That tastes different each crop. Yes, no problem. I can live with that because tea is like that. And then one day when the Singing Brook really showed up, I was like, wow, after all these years, this is really a Singing Brook. And when I see it that time, nowadays it's really easy. It's easier to see it. Because I think what it helps is he introduced us a different lineup of charcoal roast dongding, and the roast can be as dark or as light, like his 2 roasts, and can be as dark as his 4 roasts actually. And it's also dongding, and yet he called it chunxiang, spring fragrance. And that tea really bring in a really light kind of relaxing.
Like a light breeze.
Yeah, light breeze. And I start to notice, wow, his dongding, different lineups have different feelings. And I think because of that, the Singing Brook really, that quality really started to show up much more obvious.
And that zhiyin concept, the end of the story is the listener dies.
Oh.
And the zither player breaks the zither over his knee and never plays it again.
So what's the
moral of the story is the dedication of the how important it is for the artist to be understood. And I think about that story quite often. But I feel like when we go to Taiwan or when we have customers that come into our shop and when someone can really hear what we're saying and hear the more detailed stuff that we're saying, or when we can pick up on what the teacher's putting down, it's very satisfying. I'm not going to ask a teacher to throw away his roasting room after I die, but the point is it's really a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're going to break their instrument. Normally, what I picture is in the end of a tea session, if they're happy enough, they will hand us a broom and say,
You can sweep the floor now.
You are qualified to sweep the floor. And I will be jumping for joy.
Please. Yeah.
Just tell me to sweep the floor.
Yeah.
But you, random person out there, you can't ask me to sweep your floor, okay? Because normally when the master say you can sweep the floor, it means you are in. I think. Just weird Asian concept there for you. They're like, what? Sweep floor?
Sweep the floor? What?
Let me
I don't really want to sweep anyone's floor.
Let me Wikipedia it out.
It's like the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sweeping the floor for the sorcerer.
Oh, there's a tradition like this here too?
Well, there's just a story.
Oh, cool. You see? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find it on Wikipedia.
The apprentice sweeps the floor. That's like the prove yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Suffer a few years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see this final infusion, and we should call it a good.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
That seriously, the rose is still on there. Not because of how strong it is, because of the presence, of the rose presence, the smell. It never disappear. And I think the tea is opening up much, much more now. Like third infusion, I started to notice a huge opening. And so right now the scent actually becomes more mobile rather than boom, I'm in your brain, boom, I'm at
yeah, I can start to feel it
at your throat.
As it goes back to the throat, it starts to
link
a little bit more to the side of the tongue.
Also, you can see it move a little bit more. And the broth is still so rich. I don't think this tea is over yet. The broth is still really rich and yet melting and soft and fat.
A little bit more movement also within the body.
In the body, yeah. Like
down to the stomach.
Yeah, you can feel it at the stomach with that movement, the linking movement. That's way more obvious now. And it links also much more at the throat area too. It feels the body also a little bit more now too.
Yeah.
Wonderful tea.
That's a good one.
You guys know why I'm so obsessed with Dongding tea, right? I mean, you got to know. It does have mushroom smell. Smell the empty cup. No wonder I was thinking about mushroom in the beginning. Now it's like a full circle on the empty cup. Guess what mushroom I'm smelling? The one I've used a lot.
I was thinking shiitake.
That's right. Shiitake mushroom. That dark, umami, rich.
So you were thinking shiitake?
Yeah. Even in the beginning, that was the image I saw.
Nice.
So fun. Tea is so fun. Yay! I'm so happy we drank. Thank you, Mr.
Huang.
Mr. Huang, the young
filmographer. Young filmmaker Huang.
Yeah, to joke about, we talk about Dongding so much. This episode is for you, that you brought us to drink a charcoal roasted Dongding, and I love it today. Great session. Thank you guys for listening. Somehow this tea filled me in the end with so much joy, and I would like that to be sent out to all of you guys right now. Fantastic feeling. Thank you. We'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.